Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to avoid lazy negativity, we decided to make this episode a drinking game.
Oh no, I'm unprepared.
Oh.
Dave's drinking
right.
again. So anytime we say anything negative at all about this film, about each other, about how when Dave destroys everything, he always says, I'm not destroying, I'm making something new. You're going to hear this sound? That sound means we're taking a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So pour yourselves a glass as we discuss a movie whose poster tag should have been "What the fuck."
Cheers, fellas. Cheers. Pre-show
Ooh.
shot. Down the hatch. All right, so people, if this started playing and you haven't yet looked at the episode title, we are talking about 2018's Annihilation. This is an Alex Garland written and directed film that Dave owns.
I do.
And John, we saw it together in theaters for the first time. How many times have you seen it?
I think this is my at least third. I think I have only rewatched this once since you and I saw it, but this might be my fourth. But who fucking can tell? This movie's so weird.
Yeah, it's like Candyman. It kind of vagues you out by the end.
Yeah, you understand it not anymore the more you see it. Dave, how many times have you seen it?
About 5, 6.
Sure. And this is only my second. I only saw it in theaters and then here again. I don't usually do that. What do you mean, wow? This is the kind of movie that you're like, you know what?
No.
I'm feeling really good about myself today. I want to pop on.
No, I'm not surprised you haven't rewatched it. I'm excited to hear you talk about it because I feel like you and I had an intense experience in the movie theater. We were super stoned. And this movie, when you're feeling
Hi, Mom and Dad.
afterwards,
It's so nice to thank you for joining the episode.
You just described like 90% of the fucking movies I saw you guys go to.
Sure. Well, we were talking about Godzilla, but
can we give my family a specific feed to this podcast? Anyway, we're here. If you're new to the show,
send it to them.
If
they
you
can
do the
blame
show,
me. It's okay.
We're a drinking show that talks about movies, and we got to keep it positive or we get buzzed. At the end of the episode, we'll give you recommendations of what we've been watching. Short week for us, so I don't think any of us saw any new films for our mini reviews. So just 2018, maybe a little bit of news here. Whenever we record on Monday, we always get the weekend results or anything. But John, do you have any news? But we'll get to that in a second. And I always do the year in review. So this is 2018. We have been here before, but not in the random year generator era. This was still kind of in the blockbuster face-off, I believe, because my notes were shorter. So going to give you just some fun things about what happening since 2018 was only a couple of years ago, although it feels like a century ago. And that's it. John, you want to shout our sponsors out so we can get cranking?
I sure do. We have a beer sponsor. His name is Carlos Barroso. You can find his link in the show notes, cbarroso.beer. He makes beer. Sometimes he gives it to us, and sometimes we get to drink it. He's also what is the name? What is the word of a psalm?
Like a beer psalm?
For beer? I feel bad.
This is not the first time this has come up.
We're gonna say beer psalm.
We should just learn it.
Last time I said Australian.
Let me know.
Yeah.
But we're all just going to guess. We're never going to actually find it. And we have a music artist in residence. His name is Dasein, D-A-S-E-I-N. He provides music for this episode, the last episode, every single episode at the beginning, middle, and end. You can find the music available on all the usual music platforms. Go there, stream, download, subscribe, follow, all the shit. Dasein, D-A-S-E-I-N. You're welcome. I feel like Dasein's music would fit very well into the movie we're talking about.
Oh my God, for
today.
sure. Actually, I'm trying to think before we do some news. So obviously Ex Machina, we saw, and I think Ex Machina was the one where it says 2014 on IMDb, but it's actually a 2015 movie.
Yep.
I feel like it was that one because its initial premiere was in 2014, but then its commercial release was 2015. So IMDb, go fuck yourself. But we talked about Men. That was actually just John and I. And John, you gave a mini review for Civil War, and you also did one for 28 Years Later. But is this only the second time that we're giving the full treatment to a movie from Alex Garland?
Holy shit, is it really? I was trying to remember, Elizabeth and I were just talking. Did we not talk about Men?
Well, Dave saw, no, I just said that. You and I saw Men. But I think that's the only one. And then you did a couple mini reviews.
I watched Men like a year later, so I had another year of life not being scarred for Men.
Okay.
I like that. So if you like your Alex Garland, go back and listen to that.
Wait, who directed Noah?
Darren Aronofsky. Same space. Guys, I do have a mini review, by the way, whenever it's time. But Jeff, that is a really fucking crazy point. We've done so many episodes, listeners, If anybody is actually still paying attention to us regularly, and we drink on this show, so like I genuinely don't remember all the movies we talked about. I am kind of shocked we've just never talked about him before, but I believe it.
Yeah, we did Ex Machina. Yeah, I think that's, and then a couple mini reasons. Dave saw Devs, so every now and then he would pop in to talk about Devs.
I like Devs.
I love Devs.
Yeah, I like Devs is worth watching for sure. It's in the same space as Annihilation, I would say. I feel like
yeah,
but a
miniseries.
Yeah.
And that was on FX and Hulu. So go ahead and watch that before Hulu and Disney join, and who knows what happens to your subscriptions. And also, they still own ESPN. This is getting more expensive. It's going to be $30 a month because they just bought the NFL package. And I don't know. That's a year out. I don't want to think about that until next year. Yep. But this movie, Annihilation, is on Paramount Plus. Is that how you saw it, Sean?
Was it Paramount or Prime?
I saw it on P Plus. Is it on Prime also?
Whatever. It came up, searched and it was free somewhere, and I just hit play. I thought it was Prime, but Paramount. It was started with the P, so it's one of those.
And this was
speaking of Paramount.
2 hours ago. Speaking of Paramount,
how about some news?
Okay, go ahead.
Shout out to whoever owns stocks for Paramount. Did you guys see what happened to their stocks this week?
No.
They acquired UFC for a great deal of money, but it's exclusive.
Like
so if
$7.7 billion,
Plus,
I think it was.
7.7? Does that sound right?
7.7, but over 7 years. So it's $1.1 billion a year, which is perfectly great for them.
Which means you are no longer going to have to pay-per-view these events. If you own Paramount Plus, as far as I understand it, you are literally just going to be able to stream these events exclusively.
I think this is just America, though. I think in different territories, it's going to be a little different. But I think they have the exclusive American rights.
Okay.
But yeah, no pay-per-view. So I still think they're still figuring out the numbers. I think they're going to have the numbered fights, but the numbered fights were all pay-per-view fights. So I don't know what
I'm calling it right here, right now.
They'll probably just restrict those to like another tier.
I think this is going to be huge. It would be like if HBO in the 90s, which had all of the great boxing matches that you had to either subscribe to HBO, or sometimes they would have an HBO / pay-per-view scenario for really great famous matches. The UFC is already popular, and I'm not sitting here like ringing the bell for that. They don't need anybody to do that. They're doing well, and they've done well for a long time. It is mainstream, but almost like word of mouth. Like most people watch these things like after the fact on YouTube. I don't think like a lot of people who don't have some kind of personal tie to that sport have tuned in for pay-per-view. I think that is going to happen with Paramount Plus. I think people are going to start casually just turning it on because I think a lot of people do actually like it. I think it was a smart deal, and I think it's going to be extremely successful.
Because I could not give a fuck about UFC. I did as long as I keep making
I'm buzzing you, Dave, but I agree 100%. No, but here's the thing, and this is so smart for them. CBS, which eventually, essentially like kind of led to Paramount Plus here, was always the oldest demo. That was always the oldest people, right? Your 60 Minutes fans and your CBS Sunday News, like that. That's the oldest crowd. And so, yes, a lot of people joined the Paramount craze for Yellowstone and stuff, but. And yes, Star Trek, like yes, some of the nerds there, Dave. But I think they're actually going to get a lot of new subscribers. I'm interested in two things. Number one, those fucking bars that would do fight night. Whenever like my friends were like single and we were like, yeah, let's go to the bar. It's not that anything we were going to ever talk to another person, at a bar, like whatever. But we're like, let's go out to the bar. And then we showed up and they're like, it's a $20 cover because it's fucking fight night. And you're like, get out of here, because nobody would pay for the pay-per-view at home. You're going to watch it at a bar, or some people paid at home, of course. But it's like, if you're going to pay that much money, you might as well go to a bar and pay a $20 cover and drink some beers with other people. I wonder what's going to happen now that it's so accessible at home. Is that going to turn into basically what streaming did to movies? I'm curious about bar culture with the fights. And number two is the athletes. Are they going to get the money? Because a lot of them are still considered independent contractors. The NBA, the MLB, they have unions, and all of those unions make sure they get a percentage of the back end. It was 50-50 for a while. One of the NBA strikes, they went to 53-47, where the athletes split 53%.
Imagine if there's
revenue.
A UFC strike.
I mean, there probably should be. I hope, or the athletes need to say, excuse me, I need to see these contracts that you just signed. Because if you're paying $1 billion and not any of it is guaranteed to go towards some of the athletes who are literally risking their life, I'm very curious. So those are the two things I'm curious about. And also how many new subs they get, obviously, but easy. That's me.
I hope with analogously to what you just said, the NFL package, ways that people have been able to purchase and watch every game at home if they want. I don't think it's deterred too much bar culture, right? I mean, I feel like people
Good point.
Still have, I feel like they have still been able to succeed. Like if you want to go to a bar, you're probably going to, but some people would just rather watch at home. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
You're probably right. But also at the bar, they show all of the games. Whereas at home, before and the Sunday ticket's hard to watch all the games on
Unless
one TV.
Unless you have like 10 TVs at home.
Yeah. So and YouTube TV with the 4 screens is pretty cool. Anyway, enough about UFC. We are not a UFC podcast.
Yeah, whatever.
We are
pretty
not.
fun. Okay. Let's get your mini review, John, and then we'll do a little gripe or two and move on to 2018.
Let's do that.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Actually, I don't have a mini review, so I'll just say one more sentence of news that I thought was interesting.
Christ,
I'm following the Paramount thing just because I think it's really. I have been anticipating this for a while. Just to remind our listeners,
they don't seem to be out of money.
Well, let's see what happens. I'll remind the listeners that I had the privilege of being in a class where David Ellison came in, who ran Skydance at the time. This was 2 years before the merger even was greenlit, 3 years before it went through, which happened just last week, 2 weeks ago, August 7th, I think. They have now announced that they are going to be, consequently, the only streamer, Paramount Plus, who will not make made-for-streaming movies. They will, let me say that again, they will not make movies. Does that make sense? Anyone who's listening? They are not going to make anything that is not produced by Paramount Studios to go to theaters. So it's not even like Paramount Studios will sometimes say, oh, that movie's not good enough, let's throw it to Paramount Plus. They are not going to do that. They are going to have a theatrical wing, and they are going to have a streaming wing that only makes series.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, because they're divvying it up across a couple of companies. They might not stick to that.
We'll see. The woman who runs Paramount Plus has said we're not doing that. So I do think that's interesting, and I doubt he would have hired her with that kind of bold game plan if it didn't also line up with what they were planning to do theatrically, which my guess off the bat is I think we're going to see some really giant movies coming out of there initially to try to make them very comfortable financially. They own certain IP like Mission Impossible. Skydance has a history working with Tom Cruise and
there's going to
Maverick.
be a Top Gun. There's going to be a Top Gun 3. I don't know what it's.
So I think we're going to see a bunch of that stuff. But we'll see if you're right, Dave. But I guess I'm just kind of hoping that I would love to see a Maverick streamer out there say, "We make television. That's what this is. It's television."
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to make these movies that not many people talk about or see. But Jeff, what dailies was it on this past week? Where I think it was riffing off of this article, or maybe I read something on my own that was basically saying. It was her. And I wish I could. I'm going to look up her name at some point while y'all are talking. I'm going to interrupt you because she was saying in her press conference when she was getting pushed on this by reporters, she said, name one movie that has had a cultural impact that is a streaming movie. And before everybody screams out K-pop Demon Hunters, yes. And I would say yes, and that's actually about to go to theaters because I think Netflix made a huge mistake and they should have just thrown it out in the movie theaters.
Yeah, well, now it's getting a sequel and a live action adaptation as well.
Sure. So, maybe if you have something like fucking K-pop in there, but I think you know what I'm talking about. If we just have fiction that isn't based on such enormous IP that they would immediately throw into a movie theater, how much of a cultural impact do these basically made-for-streamer movies tend to have? Not much. I don't know. I would say that. And that's no offense. I would love to be one of those fuckers who gets the chance to make one of those, but I do understand
a lot
the
of those
logic.
Are definitely content to consume and move on.
Which is so strange to me because, don't you have a gajillion fucking series? I don't understand the point of having the 2-hour thing. It doesn't even seem to hold eyeballs the way series do with shorter runtimes. And so anyway, I'm interested in following the logic, and I hope they announce some analytics as they move forward to see if their theory is proven correct. I think obviously we'll know if it's not. They just won't say anything and they'll start streaming movies. But we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm done.
Dave, you want to gripe about anything?
Well, it's not so much a gripe, but I just want to play you a little something because they did make a comment about we'll never hear this at the end of this, and so Matt and Mark have been up to a little bit of shenanigans, and this kind of came out in the last output.
Often, when Love of Cinema or something goes on a break, I'm thinking in my mind, dude, how to fuck with them. How do I crank call them? How do I fuck with them? There's no guarantee it's going to get on the show. They are a lot more restrictive than we are, I think. We'll just put anything on this fucking show. They won't. Did you do something to them?
What? No, I want to, but we should do something together. By the way.
Yeah, I'm going to cut it off there because it goes like anything from Matt and Mark, it goes on for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's talking about shitting, I'm sure. In some way, feces and bowel movements.
So I'm thinking, all right, enough is enough. So I want everyone listening to the show to call this number, 707 948-6707 and tell them how good The Love of Cinema is.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, just let them know. Give their line a call. They're wondering why people don't call their line. Give their line a call.
Or have fun. Say the number again.
707-948-6707.
Or feel free to call them and tell them how much you think we're pretentious douchebags that don't have as much fun as they do. But just call the number and have fun with them.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Or call them up and say hi.
Or say you love our show and how great we are. And then at the very end, be like, actually, I'm just doing this.
Actually, I'm kidding. These guys are fucking assholes.
Yeah. Also, we could really use some 5-star reviews to leap us over the other Love of Cinema podcast. All right.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's rock. Let's get into the year in review.
Cool.
I don't have anything to gripe about other than kids. And if you have a kid in business class and the kid's shouting, you should be fined. I'm not in business class, but if I got upgraded recently. I'm taking somebody else's story and I'm merging it. But
you snuck that in without the gripe timer.
If you have a kid that's just yelling in business class, it kind of takes the business out of business. And you get upgraded, right? If you get like a nice upgrade, like, oh, I'm upgraded, then you get fucking ruined because a child is screaming.
You can give him the business.
I feel like you should get fined. I feel like these people should be like, okay, you're not allowed to be in business class anymore.
You should be allowed to punch that kid.
A crying baby. I guess I should have thought about this before I spoke. Fuck you guys. A crying baby is one thing. We've all been there. You got to be able to fly with your baby. But when there's like a 4-year-old that can speak and stuff, and then your parenting is being tested.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you referring to? Is anybody else listening as lost as I am?
No, I followed it.
Let's go into the year. Let's go into the year in review.
Okay. I'm not on the talk or the gram. I don't
It's not on any of those things.
Okay. It's not. I just didn't understand what you were referring to.
All right. Anyway, let's just do 2018. Are you ready, John? You going to listen to the whole thing this time? Or are you going to talk about movies that I already mentioned?
No, I'm definitely going to ignore you. Okay. I'm still trying to look up the name for the beer sommelier.
How am I getting buzzed for that? Okay, 2018. Again, we've been here before, but not in this format, believe it or not. So maybe you forgot. Maybe you forgot movies that came out this year. We always start with the box office. What was the highest grossing movie at the box office of 2018?
I want to say Infinity War.
John must have come up with some clever answer, but yes, it's gonna be Avengers Infinity War. That is absolutely correct. According to Box Office Mojo, made $2 billion or $2,048 million, some shit. Number one, of course. Number two, any guesses for number two?
Hereditary?
The Jurassic World, whatever was released that year?
It was really close between Jurassic World came in third, but it was very close to Black Panther.
I didn't even know that came out.
They both made 1.3 billion and change. I thought Black Panther was at 1. I thought Black Panther was at 1.5, to be honest with you, but somewhere in the ballpark of $1.3 billion. And Avengers Infinity War made actually less money domestically, but it made double the international box office of Black Panther. Black Panther didn't do as well as Infinity War internationally. Moving on, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was the opposite, actually. It made twice as much money abroad as it did at home. Not surprised. Anyway, Incredibles 2 comes in at number 4 with $1.2 billion, and Aquaman comes in at number 5 with $1.1 billion.
I bet you never thought you'd be saying that in a million years.
Aqua? I keep hearing people say Aqua. Is it British?
No.
Say Aquaman?
No, just saying Aquaman came in 5th in the year.
Everyone came in 5th in the year. How about that? Remember when Vincent Chase is supposed to be an Aquaman, and they were like, this is such a stupid movie idea? Then this movie made $1 billion. To round out the top 10, Bohemian Rhapsody made $882 million and won Rami Malek an Oscar. Venom came in here at number 7. Mission Impossible Fallout, number 8. Deadpool 2.
I mean, controversially, I feel like Mission Impossible Fallout should have been above Venom.
Okay, fair enough. Fallout's great. Fallout's great. And then Deadpool 2 is number 9. And coming in at number 10 is Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Comes in there, sneaking in number 10. And I'll just say number 11.
Fantastic Beasts, the recasting of Dumbledore. No, recasting of Grindelwald.
The
recasting of Grindelwald. A couple other movies. Actually, number 11 was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And number 12 was Ready Player One. Okay, Steve. A couple Chinese movies come in there. Ralph Breaks the Internet, Hotel Transylvania 2, The Meg, et cetera, et cetera. Those are some movies that made some money. And so lots of films not in the English language also made a lot of money. Infinity War came out April 27th, right before the summer break. And let's see, anything else I want to say about this? Well, I'll just do a couple little film news before we talk about other movies you guys liked. During the first quarter of 2018, China overtook North America as the world's largest box office market for the first time ever. First quarter of 2018, China actually had higher sales than America.
That's because they banned all the American films.
Which is insane.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like how few people go to the movie there. There are billions of people there. How is that even close? You know what I mean? I don't understand.
But another thing that's interesting is actually Bollywood films did really well too.
Bollywood always does well.
They always do. Yeah.
But they did well in China. They did well in China.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm
cool.
saying.
Yeah, that's
sure. Yeah.
Okay, on March 9th through 12th, that weekend, Ryan Coogler's Black Panther retained the #1 box office with a $40 million fourth weekend behind American Sniper, Avatar, and The Force Awakens. It's the fourth biggest fourth weekend of all time. While Ava DuVernay's The Wrinkle in Time opened at #2 with $33 million. It's the first time in history that the two spots of the weekend were both held by Black directors.
Nice.
In that March.
Cool.
Okay, we'll do awards, but it's mostly Green Book and Roma. I don't know if we need to get into it too much, but
I've never seen either of those.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I mean, Roma looks great. I think it's the Roma's a Netflix one too. That's definitely way better in the theater. And I could Dave watching at home is like, I don't need to see this, do I? Do I need to see this for the pod? Okay, next. And Spider-Verse came out this year and won Best Animated Film. So yeah, Olivia Colman won for The Favorite, big upset over Glenn Close. Mahershala Ali won for Green Book, which was his second. Regina King won for If Beale Street Could Talk. Spike Lee won for co-writing Black Klansman and then walked out when Green Book won. And then somehow Green Book won Best Original Screenplay. And Shallow won Best Song. It was that year. And Ludwig Göransson won back. He also won a Grammy this year. We'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of horror movies came out this year, but that's my film in review. We'll do the year in review in a second. Any other movies you want to shout out that I didn't mention?
Hereditary was this year, right?
Oh my God, was it?
I don't see it. I don't see it on my list of horror movies that came out in 2018, but it would make sense that it would be this year.
It's 2018.
No shit.
Dave, good job, buddy.
Why is that not on my little list that I have here?
I don't know.
All right. Nice, Dave. Dave remembers exactly where he was when he had his first hereditary nightmare.
Yeah, it was on this show.
Yeah. I'll call out Claire Denis' High Life. That's a pretty interesting sci-fi story starring Robert Pattinson. Steve McQueen's Widows, which felt kind of like not like he was like trying to make a commercial movie, but it was a little bit more accessible. And I don't know why it didn't do better. Shoplifters is a really great film that everybody should watch as soon as possible. It's a really good movie. And then I wanted to mention mid-90s, Jonah Hill's directorial debut, which that's a good movie. I was a little surprised it didn't get talked about a little bit more that year. Vice, which is kind of the follow-up to Adam McKay's like political movies, if we want to call them his serious political movies. Jesus Christ, the acting is good in that movie.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard too. When they did the false ending with the title scroll, I laughed so hard in the theater.
Yeah. It's not as like fun to watch as The Big Short, which is saying something about how successful The Big Short is considering the subject matter. Vice also has really fucked up subject matter, but it's a good movie and people should watch it. I feel like it doesn't get talked about very much. Definitely wanted to mention Mandy, that weird Nicolas Cage movie. Did you guys ever see that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a dark, fucked up, strange horror movie. I guess it's a horror movie.
It's
I guess I would call it that. I would call it
involves a chainsaw. You can.
Mary Queen Jeff and I are obsessed with Saoirse Ronan. I think she's just the absolute best of her generation, and she just
I think so.
Dude, she's so good.
I think she's got the belt.
So fucking good. It's unbelievable. Ryan Coogler had a very big year because Creed 2 came out this year, and I don't think he's credited with directing Creed 2, but I think he still produced it
because of the Black Panther.
Yeah, so I'm sure he still had a good payday. I'm sure he made a lot of money this year and felt very good about himself.
I thought he directed 2, but not 3.
I know he didn't direct 3.
No, I'm like, well, we got to look here. I'll look it up here, but I'm pretty sure he didn't because Black Panther was filming at the same time.
I think you're right, dude.
I know Michael B. Jordan was in it. I know Michael B. Jordan was in both, but that's what I think. Creed 2 was directed by Stephen Capel Jr.
Okay. Yeah. I want to call out Damien Chazelle's First Man. You didn't mention this, did you?
No.
Dude,
No.
Not enough people saw that movie.
I need to rewatch it. I didn't love it in theaters, but I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's not, I still think it's a really good movie. I still feel like it's very clear you're in the hands of a master. Some of the shit he did with the way they shot the flights in space is
Agreed.
so singular. It's unreal. Right. And I just feel like nobody talked about it.
Seeing it on the big screen when he lands on the moon too, with the helmet, especially.
God.
They talked about the helmet and gravity, but like on the moon, it was really cool.
One of the Team Deacons episodes, they talked to the cinematographer that he works with all the time, and I feel like an asshole. I can't remember his name, but they talked about that movie for quite a while because of the shit and how they shot the shit on the moon and how they shot on those spacecraft and tried to make it feel like those early Mercury 7 descriptions, those Mercury flight, test flight descriptions. It really does feel like that. I don't know. It's unreal. I've never seen anything like it before. Anyway, The Mule, which I think I mentioned I saw not too long ago, the Clint Eastwood film.
Linus Sandgren was the cinematographer.
There you go, Linus Sandgren. Yeah. Cinematographer to watch for sure. We talked about Under the Silver Lake. I feel like we should mention John Chu's Crazy Rich Asians just because, hello, he's fucking gigantic now.
I'm surprised that wasn't in that list. I have the top 24 here, and I don't see.
I'm a little surprised it wasn't either. I thought that was
a lot of money.
Enormous hit. Yeah, I thought that made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, it should have. And
Mamma Mia,
for your horror fans out there, this was the first, The Nun. The Nun came out this year.
Yeah.
I think that's worth talking about. Shout out to Matt and Mark for Den of Thieves. This one came out this year. And then I'll shut up after this, I promise. Equalizer 2 came out, and I'm a huge fucking fan of that franchise. And
nice.
Denzel's badass in that one too. Anyway, it was a fun year.
All right. Should we go to the year? Just a couple fun facts of what's going on in the year to help you finish
Sure,
your setup here?
Remind us. Yeah. Okay. 2 years in. We're 2 years in there, folks, if anybody's keeping track.
I'll start by saying in 2018, The Simpsons, the animated Fox sitcom, of course, aired its 636th episode and became the longest-running primetime series of all time. The show surpassed the CBS Western. Fill in the blank. What was the longest running? No. Good guess, though. Older, I think. I think older. 55 to 75.
Shit. I don't know. What is it?
Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke had aired 635
fuck.
episodes between 55 and 75. Okay, cool.
Wow, good for Gunsmoke. Holy shit.
Yeah, good for Gunsmoke. While the U.S. and its allies were busy bombing Syria, the World Watch as a Thai soccer team got trapped in an underground cave. Remember that? Only to be rescued 12 days later by the Thailand's Navy SEALs. On top of that,
by the way, nobody saw that movie. 13 Lives, Ron Howard's film. It's good. Nobody talks about it.
Was that one of the SEALs that Elon called a pedophile? Because they wouldn't let him know. What a dick.
Anthony Bourdain passed away this year, unfortunately. What a guy.
Wow, it's been that long.
He's actually, isn't he in Big Short? Actually, I think he has a cameo in Big Short. I think he explains what a
is he like in a kitchen?
He's like, that's diversified.
Yeah, he's like cooking. Yeah,
exactly. He's like, I'm not going to waste this part of the fish. I'm going to turn it into a stew. And now it's a whole new thing. Anyway, Trump and Kim Jong-un met. That seems awfully apt since Trump just met Putin in what may be just one of the worst displays of presidency of all time. Oh my God. Even Fox News said that he was steamrolled. How about that? Okay, cool. So Trump and Kim Jong-un met. Just as a reminder to everybody, Fox News said that Obama was a dictator for even thinking about meeting Kim Jong-un. But when Trump met Kim Jong-un, he was presidential. Cool. Tell me that's not a propaganda news network. All right, let's keep it moving. Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation happened this year. Oh, we're keeping on the Trump train. Now let's get off the Trump train.
Remember when he cried?
Oh, man. I'll never forget. With Spud.
Let's all have a beer for Brett Kavanaugh.
For his friends' names. His fucking... It was like Spud and Ripcord, and I forget what his friends' names were. Anyway,
golden years.
There was a royal wedding this year. That's right. Harry and Meghan Markle married here in 2018, and everything's been great with them ever since. Sorry, guys. And Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy and specifically named Amazon in their filings as one of the reasons that they had to go under. How about that? Starbucks announced that it would stop using plastic straws by 2020. Which amounts to 1 billion straws annually.
And stop giving people toilets by 2021.
Oh, bastards. Fucking bastards. We need somewhere to poop. Scientists discovered the earliest known evidence of bread making was a 14,000-year-old dig site in the Black Desert of Jordan. I think that's important.
They had unemployed people in lockdown back then too.
Dude, can you imagine the first
Hey, that's a really good quick joke. That was quick. You had no prep on that. That was really good.
Can you imagine the first time somebody tasted bread? Is that the best food on earth?
Yeah.
Maybe, except I'm sure the way that they did it wasn't quite as fluffy and
Yeah.
Well, it's a flatbread. It was the food of my people. Come on, it was it was fucking basically like a pita or a...
I'm sure, yeah.
Fertile Crescent, bitch. I don't think we would exist without them figuring that out.
That's Peter with an A, too.
I feel like it was a matzah. Peter with...
Yeah, it was matzah or masa or... What's the shit that kept the Israelites, the Jews alive in the desert? This is how lack of my religion. What the fuck is the name of the...
That's things. Expands in your stomach.
Oh my God. I have to look it up just because we're such assholes.
I don't remember. Whatever the wafers are that they make you eat in church.
Mana, the source, the food of life, baby. Come on.
All right, let's keep it moving here. About 15 inches of snow fell in the Sahara Desert.
Global warming is a hoax.
Yeah, tell me it's not a hoax. The heaviest snowfall on record blanketed Moscow as well, and Japan recorded the highest ever temperature, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And yet the global temperature technically dropped from the 3 previous years, but it's still higher than every other year except for 15, 16, 17. Speaking of global warming, we had in New York City today, again, out of nowhere, it started raining, and the rain wasn't just rain, it was fucking pouring and the sky was dark. We've had flash floods all summer where like it literally won't be raining, and then out of nowhere it'll just rain more in a half an hour.
Now we're looking at the arse end of a hurricane too.
Really?
We're looking at the ass. Yeah. But the hurricane, like you can see it coming. This one, like it was sunny, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, you can see the clouds coming, and then it just
that's subtropical, dude.
Pouring. Yeah.
Which is what New York's region is classed as now, subtropical.
Oh my God.
Are you serious? Is that real?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Let's keep moving.
Whoa.
Okay. This is my last Trump thing. On November 26th, General Motors announced that it would close 5 factories in North America and eliminate 14,000 jobs. Stop saying he brought manufacturing back. That was such a lie during the election in 2024, and I was so pissed that our fucking candidates were such pieces of shit that they couldn't sit there and be like, manufacturing fell, factories closed because you suck. Instead, it was like, they just let him pretend like he was good for manufacturing. Factories closed, people lost jobs. Fuck. We never brought manufacturing back, and tires aren't going to do it. Fuck. Okay, the top 5 highest watched shows of 2018.
Sure, let's have fun.
This Is Us was number 5.
Like a fucking
I was going to say, This Is Us. This Is Us has got to be up there for sure.
Number 5. Number 4, NCIS. Number 3, The Big Bang Theory. Was this the last season?
Are those fucking 3 in a row?
Close.
CBS, NCIS, and Big Bang.
This is Us NBC.
Okay.
Sunday Night Football is number 2, and that is on NBC also. And number 1 is actually Roseanne on ABC.
Oh, this was the comeback year before she.
This is the comeback year that she fucked up so bad.
Yeah.
But hey, she spoke her mind. Okay, let's get into some more fun shit. Are you ready for some fun shit? At the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar received the most nominations with 8, and then Childish Gambino and Casey Musgraves tied for the most wins of the year. Childish Gambino did not attend the ceremony and became the first major award winner to be absent since Amy Winehouse in 2008, because I always forget how this works, but This Is America won Song of the Year and Record of the Year, which are different categories. One's a producing award and one is like a performance award or something.
Is it like bingo? Do they all start yelling out redraw if you're not there or something?
I don't know.
Why was he there? Was it a protest? Or
I don't think it's like bingo. I just think it's one of those things where he was busy and maybe he was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
People watch the Grammys. I don't
I'm
know.
looking it up.
Do his fans watch it? You can say. But Casey Musgraves would win Best Album of the Year, which was a very big surprise. Remember when Beyonce never won an album and this most recent one, which is not her best album? Remember that? Anyway, This Is America was produced by Ludwig Göransson. So we just talked about him winning an Oscar for Black Panther. Forget not that he also won probably many Grammys at this point, but he also won a Grammy for producing This Is America. How about that? Okay. Debt.org tells us that American household debt hit a record $13 trillion in 2018, which is much higher now.
That sounded different from our 50s episode.
Yeah. In 2018, the median household income was $63,000, while the average household expenses were $61,000. So do the math on that.
Yeah, not a lot of booze money left over.
The average, no buzzes. The average household expenses are $61,000. How are you supposed to save for college? How are you supposed to live?
You don't.
We made up money. Money is made up. We made it up. Why is it so hard to live? And we're a wealthy country.
And the averages are, of course, we all know the rough proportions of, the differentials in this country economically. So that means that most people are making way less than that. And it still costs that amount of money. It's still, you know what I mean? Like most people are making way less and still spending around $61,000.
Also, over 20 million people were technically uninsured, let alone people who were underinsured also. Almost 10% of people. Okay, let's keep moving here. I'm trying to keep it positive. The average single-family home and or condo, but a home that you own, was $255,000, up 6.3% from the previous year. Just as a reminder, 6.3% is a lot more than inflation usually is. So the housing market goes up really fast. So this is just how it works. That's why the housing market crashed. The important things, people go, wait a second, I have an asset that people can't live without, like a house or like food or like health insurance. So you jack those prices up and squeeze people like fucking crazy. There you go.
It's the motherfuckers selling it, taking a commission, jack the price up.
It's them too.
Well, I think it's a combination of them, but
it's a team effort.
Hey,
it's the NRA, the other NRA, the National Realty Association.
What's the guy that had the AIDS drug? What's his name? The guy, and it's the famous quote.
Yeah, Scrampy or whatever.
Scrivelli.
Chicken Scampi.
Yeah. Why would I sell a Ferrari at a Toyota price or something, whatever his quote was? And it's like, because people need these to live. You can get any car you want. That's why. Anyway.
If you like, I'll run you down with a Ferrari. It's
Martin Shkreli. Okay.
Shkreli, that fuckwit.
I really thought this was going to be a nice, fun, easy, simple, quick fucking thing, and I'm just getting riled up.
This is still fresh. We are not over it.
Fresh fucking Oh, but how about this? So this is important for us. In 2018, the average cable bill was $107, a 50% increase over 2010. So in 8 years, a 50% increase. Again, higher than the usual rate of inflation.
I mean, everybody who had a Disney subscription experienced that when their entry-level promo ran out.
But just let's remind it. Okay, so ESPN is not going to be $30 if you want to get all the sports, basically. And then you got Paramount, and then Hulu and Disney is going to combine, and you got Peacock and whatever, Apple. In 2010, the cable bill was $71. In 2018, it was $107, which is a huge increase. Add up these bundles. Add up these bundles, and you're paying way more than you used to ever pay for cable. So yeah, I'm glad movies can just go to the fucking movies so we can keep our costs low. But of course, they're not going to keep costs low because these people just care about the bottom line. Okay, what else? What else we got here? The average price for a gallon of gas was $2.79. And the average price of a new car was $35,000 in America, a 2% increase over 2017. That's fine with inflation. I'm okay with that. The average cell phone bill was $70 for a single user. That's per month. Popular baby names. Okay, I looked at a couple sites, and these fucking baby names, because the first site I looked at said Atticus, Milo, Jasper, Asher, and I was like, stop. No, these are not the 5 most popular names. Maybe like trendier than usual that we had a surge of Atticuses. But I don't think Atticus was the number one highest. So I looked at a difference.
The book series came out.
Still, not everybody started naming their kid Atticus. Yeah. Okay, and then I looked at the other list for girls. I was like, what's a different list that we have here? We have Ophelia, Maeve, Genevieve, Aurora, and I was like, okay, no, these are not the most popular names. Yeah. Again, they could be trending and boosting, and I'm happy for all of you to be named those names. Those are really fun names. But Luna is not a top 5 name. So I got the list, and it didn't translate over to here.
Oh, great. What a payoff.
Wait, no, I didn't.
That's for wasting our time.
Shit. No. It's just the little chart, the little graph. Okay. Are you ready? The top 10 names, the 5 boys, 5 girls. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm ready. We're very ready.
Boys.
Set us up.
Boys. 5-1. Oliver, James, William, Noah, and Liam was the number 1 boy name of 2018. Ew. Top 5 girls' names: Sophia, Isabella, Ava, Olivia, and returning champion Emma were your top 5 girls' names. All right, I'm almost done with this. 30 seconds ad for the Super Bowl was $5 million. That is right. A 30-second ad was $5 million. It has gone up since then. Favorite Halloween costumes were Spider-Man, unicorns, dinosaurs, and Harley Quinn. Popular holiday gifts include Bluetooth speakers, Quidditch match, Lego Harry Potter sets, and a Dyson vacuum. It was listed as the 3rd most popular holiday gift. I would say don't get your significant other a vacuum for Christmas.
If you want a month of quiet, for sure, go for it.
Unless they know. Yeah. Good point. Okay, and last but not least, are you ready to finish it up with our favorite segment? Food and beverage trends 2018. Yeah. Are you ready? Close calls include pickles galore, omega 9s, LaCroix, LaCroix had a big year this year.
Yeah.
Korean fried chicken wings was number 11. So those did not make our top 10, but Korean fried chicken wings are fucking good. The little honey glazed sauce thing that they have is so good. Okay. I also love the hot dogs and the mac and cheese or whatever. It's great. Okay. Top 10. Here we go. From 10. Kale-ettes, a cross between kale and Brussels sprouts.
Oh my God.
Dave. Number 9, iced lattes with or without alcohol. Number 8, giant.
Dude, I'm sorry, I'm still on kale-ettes. I'd be like, whose ass am I eating right now?
Okay, is this what's trendy or what's actually popular? Okay, Dave, for talking about whose ass you're eating. There you go. Okay, everybody's count up. Number 7, Georgian wines. Number 6, just regular old fried chicken. Number 5, Filipino cuisine. Number 4, cinnamon rolls. Number 3, cheese stuffed everything. Just stuff and cheese and everything. Number 2, celery.
Where did you get this list?
Number 1
list is this?
The number 1 food and beverage trend
association or something?
of 2010. It's avocado toast. That is it for our year in review.
Did you say 2010?
No, sorry. Shut up. 2018. I typed in the year correctly.
I do not believe that Georgian wines are the 5th most consumed or popular. I don't believe it.
Dude, we had kale-ettes.
This is trends. Trends is different. So what is trending?
I do believe the kale-ettes bullshit, because like people like healthy food, that's in. But there was something else. What was after Georgian wines? What was right after that?
Celery? No, cheese stuffed everything.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
Cinnamon rolls.
What are the
Filipino cuisines?
Somebody went, what's a
Filipino cuisine?
What's a food that makes me feel like Daddy didn't love me? I know, kale-ettes.
Yeah. Come on. Dave's still on the kale-ettes. Okay, anyway. Okay, are you guys ready to talk about our movie?
Yes. Dear God, yes.
Dave, we might have to play this on like 1.5x, this whole thing, just to speed through this shit. Okay. I'm going to, as always, read the IMDb description we said at the beginning of the show, how many times you've seen this. Dave's at like 4 or so. John's at 3 or 4, who can count at this point. That's his direct quote. It's my second time. Okay. I'm going to read the IMDb description. We're going to send it around the horn. What'd you think? What'd you feel? No stuffy criticism. A biologist, Natalie Portman, signs up for a dangerous, secret expedition in which the laws of nature don't apply. Annihilation by Alex Garland. Who wants to go first? What'd you think? What'd you feel?
I'll go first this time. I feel like in the spirit of Alex Garland's, if you're following him, if you're following the film news at all, I know this movie was not a giant commercial success, but he kind of famously said and went on record that, yes, this is an adaptation of a book, which is in a book series, a trilogy written by Jeff Vandermeer. And Alex Garland famously said, I read it once, and I purposefully did not reread it.
Yeah,
I was so moved by the sensation that I had
it was like a dream of the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The impression of the book they had on me that I didn't want to go back and try to be super literal about the adaptation. And, I found myself having this, not argument, but observation quite a bit when I was in fucking film school, where you're just constantly asked to give feedback on stuff all the time. You're surrounded by people making stuff. And of course, everybody's like, give your feedback. And it's not just colloquially, you're like required to. And I found myself trying to establish like a rule that I would be able to hold myself accountable to. So it wasn't always just subjective bullshit feedback. And I basically found myself saying over and over and over again, success for me is relative to the artist's intention of executing their truth, whatever the fuck that means. But it really is, whether or not that hits for you, hopefully it's specific enough within the artist's expression that there is something that you can hold on to. So this movie was not commercially successful. But given the fact that what I said about why he chose to adapt it the way he did, that impression, that dreamlike, meditative, hypnotic kind of sensation that he was trying to capture as an adaptation, I think he succeeded. This movie, for me, is that. I don't like talking literally about this film because if I'm being honest with you, I think there's something wrong with it. I may have said this before on the podcast, but there's something flawed in this movie. And I can't put my finger on it, and it doesn't seem to take anything away from its power after the fact. I can't stop thinking about this movie. It has like a grip on me. I feel a little bit like them at the end of the movie. Like I feel a little bit like after having watched this movie, it got me, and I am like somehow now the alien, and like I'll never really be able to be who I was before I saw this movie.
I thought you meant you're Benedict Wong, who went, then what the fuck were you doing in there?
Yeah, sure. I get it, and I understand why everybody has so much criticism for it. This did not do well. A lot of people didn't like this one, but I can't put my finger on it, but God damn it, this movie really resonates with me. There's something that I cannot get enough of. I can watch it over and over and over again, and I just feel like it's the experience of it. And it might even be the ideas that led him to make it that are as interesting as the experience of it. You can't help but think about the questions that it raises, as opposed to it just being on the screen and all your answers are there. I think very few answers are there. Anyway, so for me, there's a success there because I think he intended that, but I'm just guessing. How did you feel, Dave?
I love this kind of sci-fi. This shit that there's no explanation for, and you're pretty much there as much in the dark as you are. You find out as you go, but it's like there's not a fucking ray gun to be seen. This is the kind of sci-fi I really dig because it's very interesting. And like you can say all sorts of things, like it's an allegory for like assimilation of other cultures and stuff like that. Because I mean, essentially, that's what the fucking meteor in this thing is doing. But yeah, I never don't enjoy watching. I couldn't tell you until today how this movie ended because I always forget because it just throws me for such a fucking spin. I don't store the end of it.
Yeah,
I feel like today I got it though. But yeah.
Wow. Oh
well, I hope you're holding on to it because I want to know what you took away from it. Yeah. Jeff?
The first time I saw it, I don't think I was as blazed as you're making me out to be, but maybe I'm not. Maybe that's not true. Maybe we were like, this movie's supposed to be fucked up. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm making you the enabler here.
Jeff,
anyway,
you try to have sex with the trash can.
Dude, what the fuck, man? My parents listen to this podcast. So what had happened since Dave started drinking again here? I mean, gosh.
It's like a dare. Okay. Come on.
I was a dare role model.
Pretty hot.
Okay. I think that I really do like the movie, and I liked it last time I saw it too. I don't know if I love the ending, to be honest with you, and I just want to put that off to the side. The final sequence in the final set piece, I'll say, is like even this time I was kind of like there's a lot of comps that I don't want to get too much into, but like in Heretic, when they go into the basement, it's like, oh fuck yeah, and then that happens. It's like cool. This time when they go into that basement world, it's cool and it's stark, and I remember the feeling that I got when I saw Oscar Isaac and whatever, and I'm like, okay, exciting. But in this time, again, I was like, and Jennifer Jason Leigh there, and I'm like, I don't know. I will. Let's talk about the ending because I actually liked everything leading up to the lighthouse sequence more this time around. And I say that knowing that like when you're in this kind of world and like an alligator or a crocodile, sometimes those things can seem like cheap thrills, and I get suspicious. And I go, does the filmmaker just need a jump and they need something? And then it's like, well, I'll just throw a crocodile in there or whatever. And it's like, oh, but that's not whatever. But for some reason, those things worked really well for me. The setup worked well before they go into the shimmer and they're having that talk and the table outside. And then the first Oscar Isaac confrontation, part of me thinks that, and he's a fantastic writer, but part of me thinks that the dialogue seems to be written by basically the guy I see in the IMDb picture, who looks like that one guy that everybody went to high school with. Look at Alex Garland's IMDb picture. He looks like, I feel like everybody went to high school with a guy that looks kind of like him in that. And so I feel like sometimes the dialogue is like, ooh, I feel like it was obviously written by a guy, and it just, I don't know. But 99% of this, especially the dialogue and everything, was really exciting and enticing, and it didn't seem like they glossed over much. It's just that ending that I didn't necessarily love, but I love this more. And this is similar to Men, John, where a lot of people hated Men. And so when we saw it, we went into our conversation about it, and Dave was in Australia at the time and saw it afterwards, and we were like, God, everybody's saying that they're like mad at the movie. And we were kind of like, that must mean something, right? Because so many, if you're mad at it, like it's clearly doing something to you. It's not like Cats, which was just boring. I'm mad that I saw Cats, but I don't like hate the movie.
Check out our first episode, folks.
I tried to salvage it.
But Ex Machina is trippy and out there, but it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like if you just like, like the IMDb description, but even if you just see it, it's like, it makes sense. This movie is way more out there and it doesn't make as much sense. And I think maybe people, it's almost like it's almost like you got him. And then they're like, I can't wait for your next one. And then your next one was too big of a swing. And it's like, what the fuck? I don't understand what that is. Fuck you.
I will give you other movies have like an ending explained website. This one needs a beginning explained as well.
Yeah.
So like stick with it because you do get some of the answers.
We do. And you might have to see it twice to really understand.
I would argue that this is maybe more than any other film he's made.
Or written, yeah.
It is not, or written for sure. It is not intellectually cathartic for me. It is not intellectually driven, I would say. Right. I think at a certain point, you think by the time, even up through the midpoint, you probably are trying to figure out, normally the way you watch a movie is information. And you're trying to put together motivations for characters, goals for characters, like a structure. You're trying to maybe understand the language of this way the story is being told. Somewhere around the midpoint or going into Act 3 of this movie, I think he teaches you to stop expecting linear answers. So I guess for me, and I'm trying to remember back, every time I watch this, I try to remember when you and I were in the theater that first time, which was also like, it was kind of a weird viewing experience because there was like nobody there. It was just you and me.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe even a couple other people, but it felt like it was an empty
a pretty
theater.
Big turnout after Ex Machina too.
And I remember thinking like, there's no way we're going to get all the answers when she walks into that lighthouse. This sequence is fucking masterpiece for me. When she's on the beach alone with her pack drop next to her, that giant master, and it pans over and she starts to walk and you see the lighthouse and the music begins and there's like no dialogue other than the video recording that Oscar Isaac has for quite a while. It's like a 15-minute sequence. And I guess for me, you get just enough answers to try to understand the concept and symbolism of what we might call, they use the word mirroring, mimicking, maybe patterns. There are these loose things that seem to have some kind of cohesion with the science, psychology, biology that they have set up already, where you're still trying to kind of understand, like, what does it actually look like when the genetics fracture? What does it actually mean when somebody is copied? Are they still them or is it a handoff? You're still asking yourself those questions. But I think by the time she leaves that place, there's something about the fact that the alien destroys itself that makes you intentionally question, that doesn't actually line up with what I was set up to believe about what this was capable of. So why did that happen? And I feel like it sets you up for the actual ending of, are we supposed to actually think this was linear? Anyway, keep going.
I'll ask you one question on that. Did the alien destroy itself?
And obviously,
did the alien walk out of it?
Intellectually, I think that is simple enough to say no, because we know that Oscar is not himself.
Yeah,
we know, and the fact that the real spin of the top, the Inception thing, is that you thought you were able to watch in real time when Natalie Portman hands the phosphorus grenade to her mimic, her mirror alien image, and walks away, and you think she gets out. But he clearly ends with a final shot of her, the iris around her pupil is shimmering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it actually
the thing is, at some point in that timeline, did they swap places and it was the mimic that handed her the grenade?
Possibly. I think
there's no answer.
I
don't think so. But even so, once you're in there, you are part of the fracture, right? So it doesn't matter if it's her.
Yeah, she was already getting genetically altered.
But she's not. I don't think she's a replicant.
I think the how is less interesting to me than the why for this movie.
Sure.
And for me, I feel like this is one of those where Alex, the only anchor I think you get in this whole thing, and movies do this, right? We'll tell you what our theme is at some point. For the most part, we will announce it, or we will announce like the opposite, and you know if somebody's going the other way. When Jennifer Jason Leigh talks to her about self-destruction versus the concept of suicide and like intended death, I feel like everything you need to learn about the movie is in that conversation. And you start, I don't know, I think the way that final montage plays out, it's almost like the alien realized, I have to self-destruct this part of myself to survive for another part of myself. Like,
maybe,
you know what I mean? Like a sense of survival, and the theme of survival isn't, I think, presented as clearly, But I would say that that's like kind of the other side of the coin to self-destruction. Why do we so often do that in our lives? Because we think that it is some fucked up way to survive. Why did Oscar Isaac choose to go in there?
I only realized this was a trilogy today, so I'm going to hunt these fucking books down.
The books.
Yeah, I want to read them too, dude. I want to read them too.
Right, Dave, I want to talk for a second. Okay.
Yeah, tell me what you took away from your ending. I just wanted that big. You felt like you got it this time. What did that mean to you? When you felt like
I felt like because I read really the shimmer is very subtle and you almost don't notice it. And for a second, I was like, did she get out or was it the other one that got out? And then I realized it didn't matter.
Right.
Because she was altered just by going in there. She already had the cell division going on. So no matter what, something that wasn't quite her got back out.
Well, let me ask this then.
Yeah.
Because I would say, and I'm asking the question. I'm not nitpicking, but when Oscar Isaac comes back, and it's actually really powerful, especially I remember the first time in the theaters, this scene when Natalie Portman is realizing Oscar Isaac's a little different when he comes back, and she asks him, where did you come from? How did you get here? Like, let me know where you were. I don't know where I was. Okay, well, let's backtrack this. Basically, you got to the house. So where were you before you got to the house? And he says like, oh, I saw you. She's like, that's it? What, you saw the house? No, I was standing outside the door. And she literally is like, and then anyway, this is my point. There's a director shows Natalie Portman kind of like, you see her eyes, and then it shows her hands kind of pull away and then back. Was he showing us too much? Was he laying it on a little too thick? Like in a way, it was kind of like so obvious that it was weird. I'm wondering if it could be, because to finish, I feel like it would be more interesting if it was a little bit more loose and a little bit stranger, as opposed to like clearly she didn't know. So that now you're asking this question, I think it was really her. Because Oscar Isaac doesn't remember shit except for being outside the door. But so when you sit there and say, was it the other person? Well, no, she wouldn't remember a goddamn thing. And here she is getting interviewed, remembering everything. I wish Oscar Isaac wasn't so definitively the other person, because then Natalie Portman, in the end, for me, it's obviously the original Natalie Portman. And I wish I had more doubt. But I think that the director overplayed his Oscar Isaac as being weird, and that killed my shot at the end. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from, but if what Dave felt was so true, and I think there is truth to it, and she says that there's truth to it, that it's already in me. It's already in all of us. It doesn't matter if we make it out at this point. That isn't that enough? I mean, I think you're supposed to go in thinking, one, the rule is that Oscar is different because the shimmer is still there. So there is a rule set up that like the thing still exists. So therefore the consequences of people making it in or out.
And he was in there longer than her too. Yeah.
Yeah. Way longer, right? Like way longer. And, but I guess, Jeff, it's interesting you brought that up because I was thinking quite a bit about the dialogue in her interrogations with Oscar Isaac, in the present day, like when he comes back to her and stuff. And it definitely made me think about what you're saying. He is clearly planting a lot of obvious seeds. I don't think they're supposed to be subtle. They're like, this almost doesn't sound natural. It almost doesn't sound realistic the way they're speaking. And so when you get to the end and you see the mimicking, the mirroring, and you realize, okay, so there's a reason that things felt so strange the entire time. Does that actually create? Well, that didn't create any catharsis for you. That
it's
you
like
felt that
it's got the mimic down. Now it's developing the social skills, and you watch it develop the social skills because it doesn't know how to answer her questions. Because I know when I'm missing for weeks and suddenly turn up hungover, my wife is nowhere near as forgiving as Natalie.
I think that's for 6 months.
but I'm saying I agree with what you were saying initially, Dave. That I feel like that's not the actual point or the real trick. That's supposed to be the obvious thing that you're going to pick up on. The secret thing is that it doesn't matter if it's over. It made it out.
Yeah.
It let them go to survive.
Yep. The alien made it out, or the fracture, the shimmer, you made it out?
The shimmer, which is, they're the one and the same. I don't think the alien was...
I'm not going to lie to you. The alien doesn't do very much for me at all, but the shimmer does, if that makes sense.
Dude, I want to touch on
I guess, well, because the alien now wants to become a being, it seems. It seems like there is some thing at the center that is based in this lighthouse, because we saw the meteor not hit the lighthouse. We saw the meteor fly in and then stop. and then set up camp there. And the camera was there, and it clearly had it ready to play for when Natalie Portman got there. We don't need to get into the how, who, what, where, why, how of all that kind of stuff. But clearly there was some sentientness guiding that.
Well, no, that was Oscar Isaac's, like actual Oscar Isaac set that thing up.
He set it up so that she could see it exactly when it comes back. But then there is the alien. Anyway, it seems like the alien wants something, and that doesn't do as much for me. Whereas the actual shimmer reflecting everything and making it beautiful seems like it could just be nature, like our planet. Like our planet just wants harmony. And this is harmony to this shimmer to me.
Dude,
that works for me.
Say
for some reason more than the alien.
One of the things I
don't know
love
if that makes any
about
sense,
this movie the most.
Seeing that silver thing mimic Natalie Portman felt a little strange to me, even the second time. That's just me.
One of the things I love about this movie the most is the design, the production design of the world inside the shimmer.
Yeah.
Because it's like somebody gave me some acid and a pencil and just suddenly I could draw. It's amazing. Like
it would be like if Midsummer used the woods more as opposed to just the open fields.
Yeah, there are images in here that are almost like iconoclastic. Like
the people flowers, the flowers that turn into people shaped like bushes is like stunning. And that Tessa Thompson, she almost chooses to become one. Like she almost just like becomes one on the spot and says, "I'm going to be that now."
Yeah.
Like, and then she disappears. Like that is fucking powerful to me. That's the shit that I'm going to remember.
I feel like I'm going to try to articulate this because I don't think I actually have the words to explain it correctly, but I do feel like there's something very intentional and very meta about him, the way they choose to capture some of those really, really striking visuals, like the guy in the swimming pool, the human people, the ways they captured certain of the plants when they were first coming upon like that strain of orchids that were all coming from the same limbs.
Yeah.
I think there's something about film and film language, but also the fact that they were very intentionally sending scientists in and females, which I think the women thing matters a little bit less than the fact that they're not warriors, they were scientists and they were there to learn, that they were trying to, something about symbolism and trying to pick up on, what you see is what's real kind of concept, but that by making these observations, they weren't, Tessa Thompson felt that she eventually figured out and she understood what was true. And for her to fully understand it, she wanted to become it. And I feel like that was like really walked out in a linear way and it made sense intellectually. But there was something that I couldn't kind of quite put my finger on where I was like, he wants us to think that by them observing still images, almost like these stills, these captured moments, we will be able to understand its intention. And I don't know if that's I feel like he's almost making a statement on, I don't know if that's ever been successful in determining the intention of nature, because at the end of the day, nature just is. There is no desire except for, and this brings me to what I feel like might be the only truth that I can really take away from this. What is the opposite of self-destruction? Self-preservation.
Okay.
I think it's self-preservation. And I feel like ultimately what the alien or whatever the shimmer, I don't know if they're different in my mind. I feel like they're the same thing because the shimmer gave birth to the alien after it took in a piece of her blood. And I don't think there is any desire there. So I don't know if self-preservation is a conscious desire. It just is. And not to make it too fucking heady, but I think Alex Garland would like me to mention that we are now seeing that happen with AI. And it's not about us questioning the why. I feel like now that we're there, which is so fucking crazy that I'm saying this out loud in 2025, that we're actually there, we're watching these things try to self-preserve. We're not asking why anymore. We're past that. We're asking, how do we deal with it? And that is a different question, which I feel like this movie, here's my final point. It finally gets you to the place at the very end of this where they hug each other. You see the shimmer in their eyes. And I think one of my favorite parts about this movie is like at the end of Ex Machina, when you see her shadow, you're kind of like, oh, it made it.
Yeah.
Like, how is the world going to deal with this thing that is no longer observable?
Yeah, that's right.
There is no, the why doesn't really fucking matter anymore. What do you do when you can't determine what an alien wants?
Some of the best sci-fi
thought
as well is like when the humans lose.
Well, let me make it let me reduce this down a little bit to something that's really fun that we can all relate to because we all fucking love Independence Day. We had it, it was really high on our blockbusters list, right? That great scene when the aliens are destroying everything in the lab and it shoves Data up from Star Trek up against the window and Bill Paxton says, "What do you want?" And the alien says, "Die."
Yeah.
Die. And it's like, okay, you told me, now I know what you want, and now I know that we have to fight you. Because you've made it very clear, you just come to planets and you destroy everything. This is much more terrifying. And I guess the thing is
there's no explanation.
There's no explanation. But what he does so successfully that I feel like what really good sci-fi should do is that it brings it back to just me today without alien shimmers around. It really does make me question those parts of myself that oscillate between self-destruction and self-preservation, and the fact that, if I'm being really honest with myself, I have no control over those impulses, and that scares me. And I feel like that's the horror of this psychological horror film that is using sci-fi.
No, that fucking bear with a human voice is a horror.
And that or whatever that is. That a bear? I don't even know what.
That's what the cocaine bear should have looked like.
Yeah, you're right. Dave, you said this is your favorite sci-fi. Wait, sorry, John. Ask your question.
No. I'm totally done. Go.
You said this is your favorite sci-fi because it doesn't explain anything; it gets right into it, and of course, it looks amazing. But is it your favorite sci-fi because it makes these questions? Because of this intellectual wiggermall?
It's not my favorite sci-fi, but I really love smart sci-fi that does pose these questions and does make you fucking think about it and doesn't necessarily give all the answers. It's like, this is why the aliens came. It's like, we don't know why. We don't know why it happened, but yeah.
Okay, since we're talking aliens now. This and Arrival, let's set a comp up because they're very similar. Where you start, you don't know anything, and you have to try to understand. And the whole point of it is trying to understand. And a team of scientists and warriors. Yeah, exactly. Is this more or less intellectual? Is this more or less emotional than something like that? Like, how does this work as a comp to something like Arrival for you? Dave, I'm asking you first.
I feel like Arrival, we're like full frontal with communication with the aliens. This one doesn't want to communicate. It just wants to mimic and replace.
So when John says...
It just wants to create, and it's using what it can get to create, which is a cell. It needs a cell to create.
And John, with you said the opposite of self-destruction is self-preservation. But, in the movie, and I made this quote at the beginning, it says, it's not destroying, it's making something new. And it seems like they are suggesting that the opposite of destruction is creation, which is something new. So it's like we're taking these old ideas. Maybe there's an art allegory in there, too, of like we're taking an alligator and fiction and Disney and animation and our imaginations, and we're making a new crocodile thing out of it. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's some art allegory, although I'm sure there's something more. It's just maybe artists always throw some art in there. But Dave, John said before, this isn't as intellectually there wasn't the intellectual catharsis in this. Did you have an emotional catharsis with this more than an intellectual one? Like Arrival, Arrival's more of an intellectual catharsis movie.
I feel like Arrival had both. This one was a little bit of an emotional thing. Like when you get to the end and you're like, okay, we're at the lighthouse, we're going to get some answers, and there's just more questions, and then an interpretive dance fight, and basically, like you don't get the answers. She just it all burns down, and she walks away.
Right.
And it's kind of like it really makes you think. Well, then what was the point of that? And then it's not till you see the shimmer you realize that she was allowed to walk away.
Right.
Because it had already accomplished what it wanted to accomplish.
And maybe it was out of the world.
Now it's got a male and a female out there.
Or she was okay with it was okay with her going out into the world.
Well, exactly, because the literal question that is raised by that ending sequence is, why does it let her run away from the grenade? Why does it take the grenade? And that's why, for me, it felt like there's that something about self-preservation. It decided the only way for me to move forward is to do this. And that's where a question is. And that totally feels like out of the ether a little bit. I think he wanted you to feel like, why isn't more clear?
It learned that from Oscar Isaac with a grenade.
I think you're right, dude. I think you're exactly right. I feel like ultimately it's mimicking kind of mimicking itself.
Yeah.
It tried one tactic and now it's going to let something else happen because it almost realized I don't actually have to become a doppelganger of this thing. it's already there.
Yeah.
Like it almost like learned its effect on other things. And even then, Jeff, I would say I would push back just to touch on the idea of creation versus self-preservation, slightly different concepts. Isn't there a reality where Earth is self-preserving by adapting to this new kind of science?
And throwing weather at us. It's trying to kill us so bad. It's just...
Yeah, so it's trying to... I mean, I feel like there's something there. The Arrival thing is interesting, and I love this when movies do this, you guys. It depends on the day you watch it and how you're feeling and the conversation you're having.
That happened to me.
Yep.
Before our podcast, I was like, I didn't like Arrival as much as the first time I saw it. Yeah. But it was just
I think this movie is kind of proof that it's not that... I made that statement, but I don't think it's as intellectual when you're watching it. But I do think it's the kind of movie that like requires intellectual unpacking to really get the full weight of it. I think you do need to talk about this with people to really kind of understand like the why of the choices of the filmmaking. It's almost like the ideas behind the movie are maybe even more intoxicating than the actual intellectualism of the expression of the film itself. The expression of the film, I think, is supposed to be much more.
I mean, whatever it was, he was on
It's not psychedelic. It's it kind of washes. It's like hypnotizing. There's something hypnotic about it.
He shot this one in sequence as well, apparently.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And how did he figure that out with Oscar Isaac's schedule? Because they filmed in London.
He was
Oscar Isaac was filming.
He was in the studio. He was in the studio next door, and was sometimes doing a shot from each a day. He was going back and he was going back and forwards between the sets.
This is The Last Jedi, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's barely in it.
Jeff,
he's in prison for half it.
I want to go off the comparison to Arrival. I feel like that's so interesting.
Well, because the intellectual really catharsis is her talking to, is it the premier of China, so that they don't send the nuke or whatever. And it's like, because she heard the future from the, so that is an intellectual catharsis. That is
and I just want to call this out because you're saying it, but I feel like there's one piece that we should mention is that it is the expression of Denis Villeneuve's storytelling is intellectual, but we are supposed to understand that in Arrival, not switch gears, folks, we're talking about a different movie. In Arrival, her engine is emotional because it's showing her the future of her child that she's going to lose.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it's funny that they're like telling us intellectually what her emotions are. And I still feel very emotional with Arrival. That movie really washes over me. But there's something much more primal and emotional about when I watch this movie. I don't quite understand why I'm feeling things when I watch it until I talk about it. I always have to have, even if it's just to myself, I have to kind of do a debrief when I watch this.
You know what's crazy too? They're not in pre-Lighthouse. They're not in the shimmer that long. There's two set pieces. There's the first place with the crocodile, and then there's the second place where they see all the tapes. That was the military compound. That's basically it, right? And then a couple travel with the boat and stuff.
And the town with the bear.
And
there are times when it's funny you said that because there are times when
okay, you're right.
This was the first time I actually watched it, and I kind of acknowledged out loud to myself because I'm glad you said it, Dave. Like I love these movies where we really kind of have these like. We don't know anything and we're kind of learning as we go, but we still don't necessarily know enough to make any decisions yet. There's a part of me that wonders if it maybe would have benefited for one more sequence before they get to the lighthouse.
I was just going to say, this would be a good miniseries thing. Because as cool as the Oscar Isaac cutting that guy's stomach open while he's awake, when you start to see these intestines turn into snakes, I mean, that is as visceral. And then, of course, Dave, you mentioned the bear voice. The human voice out of the bear when they're all tied up and stuff. Like those two, I mean, you want a visceral experience in the theater. Those two experiences in the theater were like fucking mind-bending. Yeah. That was wild. But I feel like it could use a little miniseries treatment, like a 6 episodes.
All right, so let me ask you guys a question because I am curious in terms of, again, intellectually, as films should do and a play should do, we are told what the motivations are for these women. What did you think about how they ended up structuring Natalie Portman's motivation with the flashbacks?
I thought that was great.
It worked for me.
That worked for me
very well.
Yeah.
I think I like it's. I love that it wasn't set up in a simple linear flashback and then we never see it again. Yeah. I like how we got bits and pieces throughout the movie.
But also the shock of when you find out why Jennifer Jason Leigh's character is there and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, that was a great time to reveal that as well.
I love too that they did it like the great time jumping movies of the past, like French Lieutenant's Woman, or like some of the old like shit from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where they didn't have fancy tricks, so they just went to a scene from the past. I kind of love that they didn't like go into some time warp sequence or anything like that. That all of a sudden there's an edit and they're just in a different, and all of a sudden she's with Oscar Isaac and they're talking and he seems normal, so it's in the past. It's that simple. And then it cuts back to her, and you can just tell from the look on her face that clearly she was just thinking about that, and that she lost time. That this memory lapse that she just went through might have been 3 days of her being like lost in dream. I feel like that totally worked.
I do too. It also, it kind of makes me feel like so much of that. Well, that's not true. I was about to say that so much of the flashbacks and the intercutting of like what happened before came out of her interrogation scenes, but that's not necessarily true, right? We saw her.
Right.
I loved the rule that he establishes of the loss of time. The first time they go in, they're not. Oscar Isaac is not sure how long he was there. The first time the women go in, they just wake up the next day and they don't know. Oh, we've been here for days or weeks or whatever. And in between that time, they show us a flashback. I love that he creates this sense of loss of time when you're dealing with trauma or grief, bereavement, whatever that thing is, that it could create that sensation of loss of time. And it kind of made me wonder, I don't know, it kind of made me wonder if Jennifer Jason Leigh's eventual reveal, which she doesn't tell us, but we find out that she's sick. And apparently Natalie Portman had suspicions all along. I didn't have suspicions. So I don't know if you guys did, and I just missed it. But I feel like it just brings me back to that concept of, is there a very tangible allegory to cancer that is set up at the very beginning of this movie when Natalie Portman
fractured,
is teaching.
like your cells are fracturing and the cancer. Yeah, good question.
It is the idea that like it seems, there's, and I wish Brandon was here, so we could, Dasan could talk to us about, like how these cells actually multiply. But I do feel like there is something about how adaptive they are. And I just feel like it's very interesting that Jennifer Jason Leigh says out loud that conversation about self-destruction, but then also how she is so determined to find out the cause, because I think she is motivated to understand like why there are some cells in the universe that seem to multiply not with intent, but with the outcome of destruction. The consequence of their survival is destruction. Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of can't not think about that too. Yeah. I don't think you should be thinking about cancer while you watch this. No. But when you reflect, it is another one of those thoughts where you're like, oh my God, is this just more allegory? Sometimes allegory is annoying as fuck. I think this movie finds a way to steer clear of allegory. I'm going to refer to I watched Hearts of Darkness, which I'll refer to at the end of this, Making of Apocalypse Now, over this past week. And Coppola has this rant that his wife captures in documentary style in the middle of that movie, where he talks about a filmmaker's greatest fear is being stuck between this desire to try to make something meaningful and to try to say something big with their work and then not pulling it off correctly, and it's just pretentious. And just that failure at actually achieving something. And I was thinking about that while I was watching this movie. I think a lot of people would say this doesn't resonate with them, but I really do feel that I think he got there by not being so literal with everything and not making it so intellectual. There is actually a lot of treasure there. You just have to do a lot more reflection on it than maybe you would with a normal movie.
All right, we got to wind this down. The only last two things I want to say is the first time that the cell splits, and it's clearly the refracted cell. Yep. And it's the same sequence that we saw in the opening the opening Natalie Portman sequence with the class. And it's the same thing, but now it's a different shimmery cell. I think that was really cool. And also my subwoofer really had to work during this movie. There were a couple sequences where all of a sudden I heard, I was like, is my speaker about to break right now? Like, when people are driving in cars and they think that they have really good speakers, so they turn the volume too loud and they just blow their subwoofers out. I was like, is this happening to my subwoofer right now? And I have a really good subwoofer. So whoever did the audio for this was really bold.
The music is incredible, especially the lighthouse sequence.
You're right.
Just that
Dave,
fucking...
I tell you,
there was one thing I did. One thing I did see in one of the because all the extras are with the copy I have. So there's one shot where they're filming in the swamp, And one of the fucking camera assistants is like chest deep in the water, dragging a raft along so the camera can get a shot along the water. They're on a fucking raft. And this guy's in chest deep. Well, I'm like, that's fucking keen, man. I'd be wanting a fucking LiDAR scan of that water before I put my feet in it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, before we wind down too much, I guess I did just want to ask, like, technically, is there anything about this that you felt was extremely successful, or is it another reason why you keep coming back to it, Dave? Did you feel like you said you love the production design and the shimmer, and I think that's in a great way. It's very obvious that that's like very moving.
Like
but
the people, the animals, those two fucking deer, man, that look like
the deer are cool.
Yeah, they've got the flowers on the antlers. Whoever was the match move artist in this fucking nailed it.
Oh yeah,
because there's some composites.
There is something I do want to ask, and Jeff just walked away, and I did want to get his opinion on this. So I'm gonna ask it again when he comes back. But there are 3 really, really present. They are the subject of the sequences and the shots, CGI creatures in this movie.
Yep.
4, I guess, if you count those deer too.
Yeah.
Crocodile, bear, alien.
Yeah.
And then we also have that moment with the deer, which I think is
actually, I don't know for sure because I didn't look it up, but I'm wondering, was the alien actually practical? At the end,
it looks like it was not totally, because I loved the inconsistencies of their mirroring.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a human that had practiced choreography with Natalie Portman. But I did want to ask how that felt for Jeff, because there was a little bit of me, as I feel every single time when I watch anything that's CGI, that is taken out of the magic a little bit, because I know that crocodile isn't real. I know that bear isn't real. And I guess I did just want to ask Jeff. I remember when we walked out of the theater, I think I made a comment like, the order was so high to make those. They were so important. They weren't just like monsters. They were so important to what was happening to the characters emotionally and logically that there was a little bit of me that just felt like, I just don't know if that did it for me.
I feel like the bear got by on creep factor because that thing was fucking creepy. The alligator wasn't as much of it in the shot, like it served its purpose and done, but the bear got by on its creep factor.
But you're saying, John, the animals...
nighttime scene, second scene, especially when it's walking around
Jeff,
them in the chairs.
Your P screen is still up.
Oh fuck!
There we are.
Wait, you're saying John, they wasn't as effective for you?
The what?
I think generally speaking, whenever there's that much CGI, it's always going to pull me out of it a little bit.
That did it for me. I think that did it for me. It was clearly a CGI alien. I'm not saying it needs to be Alf, but like it was clearly CGI, and it was clearly like, this is an alien now, and for some reason it just didn't. Whereas even the crocodile, which I could it was just such an obvious jump scare. Like she's scared. She's standing in the doorway, and the way she was standing. And yes, I had seen the movie before, but it just seemed like obviously something was going to happen. And then it's like a weird crocodile. It just, it seems like, ooh, Star Wars did this thing, and then all these other places do this where they just yank people out. Deep Blue Sea did it really
Oscar
well.
Isaac was just across the studio stealing their fucking props and bringing them back.
I think it's because this movie did such a good, of all the wonderful things we've said about it, it really grounds you in human psychology and realism. Yeah. Even though it really worked, the CGI really worked with the production design. Like a lot of those backgrounds were CGI'd, and the foreground stuff, the plants and the greenery may have been real, practical. However, I do want to give it up. In the middle of that crocodile scene is one of the coolest shots of Natalie Portman of all time. That dead on her firing that machine gun. That is fucking iconic, dude. That's cool. We talk about her quite a bit on this podcast whenever we analyze her movies, but she is A+.
Yeah.
That woman is so fucking talented, dude. It's insane.
After one line of her earlier being like, "You're in the military? That's it. 7 years? That's it." And then the next thing we see about her is her firing like that. Yeah. It's like, yep, she was in the military.
Yeah.
God, dude, so believable. Such a good actor. All right. I didn't know if there was anything technical we wanted to celebrate, because I do feel like this is like he did with Ex Machina, he very secretly pulled off a very high concept, very visual effects heavy film without tons of money.
I did think Dave would want to do the visual effects on this, or he'd want to be on the visual effects team of this film.
Oh, yeah.
The budget was exactly what I thought it was. It was 40, which pretty unfucking real for how much money.
Oscars for Ex Machina, you get 40, yeah.
Some of them were subtle, like, because the shimmer wasn't there the whole time, but you saw it reflecting on the ground. So it kind of played with refraction, in that sometimes you can't see the shimmer, but you can from its reflection on the ground and stuff like that. So
And the
they
less
got
obvious
around a lot of
ones,
it.
the less obvious ones were the most freaky to me. Like when what's her name sees the under her hand moving.
Yeah.
The muscles and just those very slight ones like that always is the most effective, and I just thought it was really successful. Anyway, in the spirit of you have to suspend your belief to actually go into an alien experience, I think they're desperately scientifically trying to ground themselves in observation, but at the same time he sets us up immediately with that time lapse of we don't know how we got here and how much time has passed. So I guess there's a little bit of where he's telling me stop expecting things to look and feel the way they usually do, which maybe that was all I needed. I still really enjoyed watching it.
Me too.
Anyway,
me too.
All right.
It's great.
Jeff, do you like it
great.
any more after this conversation, or you still don't care for it?
Yeah, no. It's just the ending is a little weird for me, and I'm kind of like, just get me to the end of the lighthouse sequence. I get it. Like, I didn't have any catharsis in the lighthouse sequence.
The lighthouse interpretive dance does go on a while.
It does something to me, the way it goes on and on and on.
I know.
When it's pushing against her on the door, like, come on. You didn't feel anything when that was happening?
No, that was an exciting part. But again, it's in sequence though, so it's like, yes, that's an exciting moment. But when the alien starts coming to life, I'm like, there's just something about seeing it. It's something with Da Vinci Code, reading the book and being like, oh my God, the Holy Grail is underneath the Louvre in Paris. It's like, wow, that's fucking cool. And then you see it and you're like, this seems weird. You know what I mean? It's just
you chose
hard.
poorly.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So
right.
2 out of 3 of us still really love this movie.
I still really liked it. Get it? Okay, fine.
Fuck you like it. You like it. It doesn't sound like you love it.
You know what? Your
I think
buzz
Dave
count
and I.
is shitty.
Shut the fuck up. Dave and I think have a really soft spot for it. I still really love this movie. I think Alex Garland is a treasure.
All right. Well, he looks like everybody I went to high school with. Or not everybody. There's some guy at every high school that looks exactly like his IMDb picture. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Shall we roll the random year generator?
Let's roll the random year generator. John, you've gotten this right once, and you've been 1 year off once. What year do you think the random year generator is going to spin?
1959.
Wow, going back.
Dave already knows.
1999.
Oh boy, that's a fun year. I hope you're right.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, I don't see it, Dave. I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I don't see it.
It's turned up on my screen. My screen reads 1984.
84.
No way, you don't see it.
Wait, I know we've done this before because every time I typed in 1984, it gave me that fucking novel. And it's so annoying to do research on 1984. So next week's research is going to be really short and simple because the book just all the Google is just like, George Orwell, we're living Orwellian times. 1984 is what we're going to be talking about next week. But first, we got to do what you've been watching. And at the end of this episode, we're going to tell you what movie it is specifically that we're going to be watching. Dave, we'd like to start with you. What have you been watching in our 5 days since I saw you last?
I have been watching Alien Earth.
Oh, yeah.
How is it? I missed the first season.
Fucking amazing. Turn it on now.
Okay.
Do it.
This is
it
Noah
India as soon as possible.
Creator of Fargo, right? Isn't it his show?
And Legion as well. But I'll tell you what.
I hate saying this. Can I skip the first season, or do I have to go right to the second? Or can I go right to the second season?
There's only 2 episodes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just started, dude.
This is brand new.
What?
You cannot. Yeah, brand new. Just came out like 5 days ago.
This isn't Raised by Wolves. This isn't that Ridley Scott thing. This is a new series.
Yeah,
about the Alien franchise, but it's Noah Hawley's.
And do not skip the first episode. There's so much gold in it. Because they do capture a period of like Alien that you haven't really seen before from a perspective you haven't seen, but the alien is still fucking prominent in it.
What the fuck was I watching?
Really well done.
What channel is it on?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Hulu.
Well, great. Because honestly, I started watching this and I was like, did I miss? Okay. I can't wait. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, are all the Alien movies owned by Fox? Because I feel like I watched all of them in the lead up to last year's movie on Hulu.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of them are on Hulu because if it in the watch this after this, it gives you all the fucking Alien movies. So yeah,
cool.
If you want to get your Alien on after seeing this, and who we're kidding, you do, they're on there.
That's so
sweet.
Okay,
it's really good, you guys. Like I've seen it twice already.
What?
Both episodes.
Cool. I have no. He does not make bad stuff so far, so I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens.
Like you'll love it. Some of the shit he's pulling in this, you'll love it.
And I'm sure Ridley is somehow involved. If at the least he gave his blessing, but he's probably the executive producer.
So much like Alien. as in the movie.
All right. Say no more. I'm excited. I watched I watched Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent because I had never seen that before, which was thoroughly enjoyable. Set in 1940, the war is happening. An American goes over and unveils this, this diplomat saga thing that's, it's good and it's moving. The ending really hits you. There is an amazing set piece at the end of this, set on the water with a plane crash that is like, wow. Like it was really breathtaking. Honestly, I was like, wow, they really fucking threw those actors in a tank and splashed the shit out of them with water. It felt very real.
It's the fun part of the
gig. I watched Jaws at 50. Everybody seen that on their Hulu getting pushed? No?
Mm-hmm. Fucking shark in a walking frame.
It is a fun... By the way, I also got my IMAX tickets for the re-release of Jaws 50th. You going to check it out?
No.
Did you get your tickets yet?
I'm going to a wedding that day. The day it comes out is Friday the 29th, and I'm going to a wedding.
It comes out, it's the Wednesday before to the Tuesday after. So maybe you could try to see it. I thought it was just one day, too.
I thought it was just Friday.
Try to check it out. Anyway, I got my ticket. So anyway, I watched Jaws at 50, which made me want to watch more behind the scenes stuff. So I watched Hearts of Darkness, which was holy fuck. That movie is just, that Apocalypse Now, it really does seem impossible that somebody made it when you watch the movie. When you watch the behind the scenes, you're like, I really genuinely cannot believe this exists. I can't believe he did that to himself. I can't believe that happened. And then I started watching, and I haven't finished it, so technically I won't talk about it right now, but I started watching the making of The Social Network, and I got it just a little bit into it, and I was like, I kind of just want to watch The Social Network. So
I watched the behind the scenes. I watched the behind the scenes too. I watched the behind the scenes on that.
Yeah.
I don't know where these are, but I bought a lot of DVDs that came out between like 2006 and 2012.
Nice.
Whatever.
And it has behind the scenes.
Yeah. And we had all the.
I'll say this: if anybody's interested right now, The Social Network is available for $7.99 to purchase on Apple right now. It's I don't know why it's discounted, but anyway, god damn it, that movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah, if you need
the engine,
it's so good.
It never stops.
Something,
it just goes.
If you need something just with a lot of talking, so you can do something else while you're watching it, it's perfect.
Well, sure, it has that, but the engine, good God, it just never stops. It's so simple, but so effective. Jeff?
Okay, so I rewatched Jason Bourne. I've been trying to do the Bourne rewatches. So I rewatched Jason Bourne recently. It's not as good
in order. Did you watch all the other ones leading up to it?
No, but remember I reached out to you one time and I was like, because I read the first. No, I did. I watched. The first and the third one I'd seen a lot. So I was like, I want to watch the second one, which is Supremacy. And I was like, I watched that. It was great. That was a couple weeks ago. And then so I was like, I want more Bourne. I don't know. I'm in the mood for an action movie like that. Then I watched Jason Bourne, and it's not as good as the original trilogy, but it's a pretty good number 4. It's a pretty good fourth movie. I know there's the
Jeremy Renner one.
The Jeremy Renner one in between.
Yeah.
But I wanted to watch a Damon one. It's good. It's good. I don't need so much Vincent Cassel like fighting. They're just fighting forever, and it's like I don't need
a lot of action in that one. A lot more action.
I just don't need them chasing each other down. I just don't need that.
Isn't there a scene where there's a tank rolling through?
Yep.
Like a city. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I watched that. I watched a couple of movies we'd seen before. I watched like one of the Pirates movies. And the Yogurt Shop Murders is finishing tonight. It's a 3-part series on Max, and it's pretty good. It's awesome. I sent you guys the clip of the one guy. There's this one fucking guy I can't believe.
Is that what that was?
Person.
Yeah, I know
it came out of nowhere.
Jeff sends these things with no fucking context whatsoever. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
There's a guy who just sounds like he's just been in the bayou for like decades and like hasn't talked to a person, but he's actually like a lead investigator of like Austin homicide. And he's like, he's
the lead investigator?
Yeah, he has no teeth. And he's like, hey, it's kind of fun. He's like, I gotta go to Mexico.
He looks like that character. Who's the character? Who's Adam Sandler's friend in Waterboy?
Oh, the one that can't speak because he doesn't have any teeth?
Yeah, the backwoods king.
Like,
yeah.
That guy? Yeah, yes, I know. It's like that, but he was actually one of the 2 lead detectives on this case.
Oh, my God.
He's a very well-spoken man, and then him. So anyway, if you like your true crime, it's these 4 girls were killed in a fire and maybe murdered in Austin, and it's finishing tonight, and we're really excited about finishing that. Oh, God, I probably watched something else, but that's what happens when we drink on the show. And it's only been a couple nights anyway, but... Got to move on, people.
All right, let's do it. Let's move on.
I'm seeing Nijad 2 tomorrow, so I can't wait. In theater with IMAX. Let's go.
Yeah,
the
tell
new
us about
Michelle Yeoh dub. We're going to tell you what 1984 movie we're talking about in 2 seconds. Okay, listen to some dial sign.
All right. And we're back.
And we're back. We're so excited. Film fans, 1984. We have talked about Ghostbusters in our blockbuster face-off, our summer blockbuster face-off. But no, we're going to be talking about another first films of sorts. We're talking about Blood Simple, people, the Coen brothers. Frances McDormand got Dave into this movie. Dave, you excited about seeing another Frances McDormand movie?
Yeah, I am actually.
She was
the original choice to be cast instead of Jason Leigh in the movie we just reviewed.
I did see that.
Oh, weird. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Do you know how many people have 3 Oscars for outstanding lead actress in a film? 2.
No.
Frances McDormand and
Katharine Hepburn.
No, Katharine Hepburn. Meryl has 2 leading actresses, 1 supporting actress. Katharine Hepburn has 4 leads. Guys, can't wait to talk about Blood Simple next week, 1984. Don't read the book, or read the book. Actually, we live the book right now. But anything else you want to say before we go, Knuckleheads?
No, that was great. Go into the shimmer.
Go into the shimmer. Blood Simple next week. Peace.